Oh my God.
Oh, whoa. Now that's a
Malacca.
start.
Malacca. That is a rainy, rainy start. Good evening, all. I am Darius Mazari, and I'm joined this evening by Lucas Safraniak. Guest
Hello,
appearance.
everybody.
From what?
Welcome back to Ero for a wonderful start to the new game, new season. It's gonna be very interesting, especially these opening rounds when the drivers don't really know what to expect from themselves. So, yeah, we expect a really good racing, hopefully.
Expect a really,
And yeah,
really wet track.
it's gonna
That's
be
what we expect.
fun.
As we have an offset
That is
between
very
inters
true.
and intermediate tyres for this qualifying session. Apparently, Mr. Mark Crawford saying the whole race is going to be raining.
Oh wow,
Oh la la. Um,
that is going to be very interesting.
I'm trying to find our stream and share it with the masses. Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I'm spectating Alex right now, and he is on full wet tires, and he seems to be struggling. So
Oh God.
I don't want to know what drivers on Intis are feeling, but it seems like excuse me, the only driver who is out on track on Intis is Matthew Wrightson. And he might be very wrong, son, choosing this compound tire. What a wordplay.
Please
Awesome.
die. Okay.
Yeah. I just got a notification from Discord. I wonder who was that.
That was me.
Yeah, no. But looks
Why?
like.
Oh, for fuck's sake, ABS is disabled.
Ooh. Sounds like a restart. Off to a good start. Off to a good start. In typical.
Just another day in F3.
Yep. Nothing changes. Yeah, F3 last season was an interesting one, to say the least.
Okay, I'll just make the lobby.
Cool. I can help you invite some people.
Yeah. Another day in paradise in F3 land. Oh, God. And just to make them happy, we'll just give them a new spin of the wheel with the rain as well.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, it'll just be fair because, like, you know, this is chaos. I'm going to get you in now right in a second.
Cool.
Okay.
Why did I think this weekend Grand Prix was a sprint weekend?
I was saying this to someone.
Idea.
That I'm just grateful it wasn't. Because I'm going to the race on Sunday. And I'd be very upset. I'd be very upset if it's raining all weekend. Where are you? I can't find you. Can you join off the party?
It's because
you're paying offline.
I think I can. Yeah, I'm an offline status because I'm dead for 3 years now. Yeah, the commitment is enormous. Despite the fact that I'm dead, I still want to commentate.
Redemption.
You can say it was a Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption. Okay, just stop now.
They didn't pay us enough. It just occurred to me that I'm racing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I practiced a little bit, but I completely forgot about the fact that there's a very good possibility there's going to be a wet race.
Why?
Oh, because it's Silverstone. It's basically a given.
Oh God.
If there's going to be rain in F2, I will do a full lap in the reverse and commit war atrocities in a pit wall.
Dry race, apparently, according to the masses. Okay, how do I set this now? Customize weather. Race.
Who would have thought?
Can you just invite some people in?
Yeah, but I don't think I have them on my friend list.
Okay.
Okay, I've invited Dan.
The music is not as good in this game as the last game. I have to say that now.
2022 and 2023 was one of the best soundtracks
Yeah.
F1's ever had. I still have some songs from F1 22 on my Spotify playlist.
I mean, some of them are very good. Okay, you just add everyone who's in the lobby, right? That way, that way, if they disconnect, you can get them back, because this is a lot of chaos as usual.
That's a very smart plan. I'll give you that. Oh shit! Now view super license.
Okay, I think I have everyone. No, Isfod's already here. Standard F3. It wouldn't be the second race on a Friday night without a restart, without something going wrong, and whatever in between at this point.
Wait.
Doggy man. All right, Doggy man. Let's find you.
Traditions.
Traditions is an understatement, mate.
No, I've been racing in F3 for a year. Yeah, I think I've spent the entire F1 23 in F3. So, yeah, it was so annoying, especially when I was commentating F5, and things really ran smoothly in F5. At least I think so. And then you have my race a day after, and everything turns into crap.
Well, I mean, I think I'll have to host Friday nights from now on, because everyone seems to be getting in quite nicely now. Okay. Axel, where is my good friend Axel Foley?
No, that's a good question.
Axel Foley. I don't see a Greek flag anywhere. Micromash needs an invite as well. We actually might get a full lobby now.
Oh. I'll be honest, as a Mercedes fan, I'm still not. I still haven't recovered from Austria.
I watched it. Well, actually, I had it on in the background while I was driving to a friend of mine's house. And just as I was parking the car, like I had it on, I had the commentary on, and as I parked the car, all this shit started happening. And then I was just like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Yep. My sister came by. She visited us, and we were talking. I was talking to her. We was like drinking coffee or something, and I had the race like in the background, sort of.
Yeah.
But with no commentary. So just as she was leaving, Verstappen and Norris collided, and they both had had a puncture. So as soon as she left, I run straight into my room, put the volume on max, and just saw Russell swooping past them, and
Oh, God.
well, to say I screamed it would be an understatement.
I know. And then the little rat Russell buddy gets P1.
Yep. That was a good day. That was a good day.
That little rat Russell.
Oh my God, I'm George Russell, #1 fanboy. Yippee! Do you know what? Sometimes I forget these things are being broadcasted live.
Oh, Ronan needs to get in a car. Oh, he did just about. Ronan just about got in the car. Okay. Close shave for Mr. Ronan Clark already. Oh,
let's go.
Right.
It's time to do some racing.
It is still raining. It is still raining. Surprise. I have no sound for some reason.
Maybe it's something to do with the party audio settings.
No. I mean, I have no sound in the. I had sound in the lobby. I just don't have sound here. I'm actually like. Oh, the lobby just exploded. Can you invite me back in?
For free. Sure. Where are you, my friend? Invite friend.
I just hope to God this doesn't break the lobby.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think we're good. Oh. Joseph just...
This is pure jokes. Anyway, we're here.
Okay, time to get serious.
We're here. We got drivers leaving the pits. Some new faces, some old returning faces in F3, which would be the equivalent of F4 last season. Callum Ogden, Lex Hodd, Mr. Ronan Clark, T-Rex back. I think he's going to win the F3 title this year if anything crazy doesn't happen. We got Ryan Smith, who's become the de facto host after me getting yeeted out of the lobby. Then Dan Marquez, known from his GT7 racing in Ero. Edgar Phillips comes back, the Latvian gentleman, after a few seasons sabbatical. Then we have Mike Romash and The Truth, Mr. Louis Amorato, who made a lovely donation to Ero. We are very much appreciative of everything you've done to help support the channel and the server. Joseph Hearn, everyone's favourite little shit. Then Isfad Fodder, another Ero legend. Alex Theodore, Axel Foley, Alex Courtois, who I've had many battles with last season. Next up is Mr. Kent, who is Sam Kent from Joe Hamster's League IRL, a very good steward there. Next is Yarno Nightmare Maximilian Jr. I can't pronounce your last name. Maybe Lucas can have a go at that later on. Everyone knows Matthew already. Everyone knows Bastian. Camille, our favourite standings editor.
Okay. Wait. I'm going to pronounce some names, because which one were you talking about?
Maximilian Jr.'s second name.
Okay, so that's a good one. You ready?
Go on, curva me.
Max Jr. Brzezinski,
okay. Dobre. Then we've got Mark and we've got Fola as the new drivers on the grid. So, Silverstone, very famous track, always produces a banger in real life. I will be going on Sunday and sitting on Cop's Corner.
Ooh, hope you're not going to catch any debris from a Red Bull flying towards the barriers.
And sorry, I left out one person in the introduction. Mr. Doggy Man. I've lost your name now. Oh no, Hayden Johnson. Sorry, apologies. Silverstone, 18 corners in total. Very, very famous track. Has undergone a lot of changes over the last 20 years or so. Obviously, the start-finish line has changed. Certain corners have been revamped altogether, like the hangar area and Lutfield. And Yeah, always produces a good race. Lucas, it's great to have you back in the commentary race as well.
Thank you very much. It's very good to be back. As we already have a retirement, it's The Truth, which, by the way, amazing name. But yeah, it's really lovely to be back. I'm gonna try to commentate as many races as it is possible. And yeah, coming back to what you said about Silverstone, of course, it's one of the more iconic tracks on the calendar, if not the iconic track on the calendar. It's always a pleasure to watch these Formula One cars racing around this historic airfield, ex-airfield, should I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely crazy that they transformed an entire airfield to a wonderful, wonderful track. It's gone through a lot of changes, just as you said, but right now we have this very nice sort of layout. A lot of high-speed corners. You really need a good amount of downforce, but you have to make that compromise because Silverstone is, of course, known from its huge straights. Hanger Straight, the Wellington Straight, of course, run down to Copse. You really need that low drag to be as quick as possible, but of course that's gonna hamper you in the corners. As now we have our first lap times on the board though. Dan Marquez is P1 by about 0.4 of a second. Micro Mash in a Williams in P2. Solid lap from him. More and more drivers are gonna come across the line. We got a lot of people sliding around, really pushing the limit, and we'll see if somebody's gonna push it a little bit too far and then maybe join The Truth in a retirement home.
Well, Louis has just said to me that he actually left because he can't race without full traction, which is fair enough. Full traction has been a topic of conversation in F3 these last few days. As a lot of drivers are very surprised that we would be banning full traction, and it's exactly for this reason, because in the wet, full traction is just broken beyond comparison.
Absolutely.
You could literally just you could just have your finger on the trigger, like.
Exactly. Yeah. As Sparrow just texted me. Shout out to Sparrow.
Where's Sparrow this evening? They were meant to be racing here.
I think you went camping.
Oh.
Yeah. Milking up the vacations.
Very nice.
Yeah. That was my first week at work, so I'm kind of messed up. Like, what a lap from Bios, though.
As Lex Hart goes provisionally P1, and the track will begin to dry out as we are looking at someone mowing the grass. That is Mark Crawford. As Fola is also yet to set a lap. It's just a few drivers, 5 or 6 drivers left to set a lap. At the moment, though, Lex Hart dominating 6/10 clear of Dan in his
beautiful lap. See, one thing I really dislike about this season is the team names, like Kick Sauber and V-Carb.
Well, I think the V-Carb's a beautiful looking car. I think it's one of the nicest cars I've seen.
It's beautiful. It's an absolute beauty. I'm not talking about the livery. The livery is amazing. It's a beautiful throwback to the Toro Rosso era. Lovely. But the name... What happened?
And Ryan has now been booted from the game.
Well, the Reaper of Death chose him this time. Let's see. Speaking of V-Carb, Doggy Man, beautiful nickname as well, is going through Magnus Becker's chapel, going now through the Hanger Straight. Is that the Hanger Straight? It is the Hanger Straight.
It is indeed, yeah. Up to Stowe we go.
Up to Stowe. Very conservative approach, going slightly over the white lines, and it's an invalidation for the V-Carb driver. See, that's what I'm talking about. A V-Carb driver, like...
I know, yeah.
That doesn't even sound good. I guess it's... Well, we're gonna have to think about a solution. Micro Mash! Over a second quicker than BIOS.
So the track must be drying off rapidly.
It's gonna be into this soon, probably.
Joe Hamster sticks his beautiful red Ferrari, which has got HP everywhere now on it, into P2.
Yeah, very nice lap time for one Ferrari driver. The lap times are improving quite a bit, but that's a still huge gap from P1 to P2. 9/10. That's gonna be very interesting how much the drivers could improve. I'm looking mostly at BIOS, Dan Marquez. Maybe Alex could throw something into the pot, but yeah. Also, what's going on with Istvad? Istvad is still staying in the pits, not going out. Meditating, maybe. We have another Kick Sauber on the track, just going through Maggots, Beckett's Chapel, now onto the Hanger Straight, run down to turn 15 Stowe. The only reason I know why this is turn 15 is because in 2021 Valtteri Bottas was told to give the place back to Hamilton into turn 15. Now towards the Vale chicane, you have to be very careful on the traction. Don't spin. Oh, he did lose it, going a little bit Tokyo drifting on the exit, but across the line the Kick Sauber goes, and it's good enough for P12.
Sorry, I was lagging behind
4
there.
seconds off P1. That's a huge gap.
As NRT Junior, Jarno Nightmare Maximilian Blazinski
Yeah.
Blazinski goes P2.
Okay, yeah, you're getting there. Nice.
Well, like Bulgarian and Polish kind of have some words that cross over, right? So I'm assuming they do.
Well, maybe like Czech and Slovakian. Sure, but I didn't really heard before that Bulgarian and Polish are.
I'm guessing.
similar.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Do you know Bulgarian?
I lived in Bulgaria for a few years,
wow.
so I ended up learning the language as best I could.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's where I studied dentistry.
The funny thing, like we Poles have this running joke that a guy from Czechia can easily understand a guy from Poland.
Yeah.
A guy from Poland,
Can't
it
understand
would
a
be
guy
difficult for him. Yeah. Whoa!
As
Intes
Camel!
are the tires to be on.
Most definitely, as the rain has
lap
definitely eased up, hasn't it?
Absolutely. What a lap. And he's still going, I think, because that doesn't seem like he's really backing off.
He's just pushing to get back
really
into the pits,
pushing.
maybe.
Excuse me, maybe.
Not
But
a lot of time left.
look, go on board with it. Look how much he's still struggling for the grip in this high-speed corners. It's a purple for a sector for the Mercedes driver, at least, unless that's not a glitch. And I hope it's not. Matthew Wrongson up to P2, 4 tenths off P1.
Oh my
Very
god.
solid lap there from a Red Bull driver. Axel retired in loop. That's not ideal for the Alpine driver. He's probably going to drop down to 19th, I'm guessing.
As we see, Sam Kent put his Ferrari into P3. Interesting on the full wet still. Let's try to find someone on the lap. Apparently Junior's a second up in his lap as he is going on the old start-finish straight. On the run down to Copse Corner, exactly where I'll be sitting. And
What a save!
Opa.
That was unbelievable. The truck's improving, but the drivers are struggling. It's incredible. This is the moment when you can sense he's still improving by a second and a half, or over a second and a half. That is crazy to me. BIOS with 1 minute 36.173. What a lap from the Sauber driver. Oh, Junior just went completely off the track. Somehow did not invalidate his lap. 2 corners to go for the Haas driver. What's it gonna be? He has to keep it clean on the track, on the exit, and across the line it's gonna be P4 somehow. I don't know how their lap even counted for him.
Good improvement from them, as we have a host of drivers either starting their laps or finishing their laps. And it looks like Mark will be starting. Well, he's not got a lot of fuel left. He's not pushing, so it's not him. Is Sam? No, not Sam. Is it Joe Hamster? It is Joe Hamster, and he's in the hot lap, and there's a Red Bull after spinning off the track there, just out of the exit of farm.
I think Vries is going to be the first driver right now to finish a lap. Right behind him is the V-carb of Alex, I think.
And Micromash has gone on to the soft compound tyre with 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session as Joe is sliding through Ludfield on the intermediate tyre. So maybe
P3 for Vries, P2 for Alex.
Oh my god, Alex Theodore out of nowhere. Joe now on the run from Brooklands down to Cops Corner. Slides there. I think the inside curb is quite lethal this year in Cops. Like if you touch that, you're at a very high probability of spinning. Into Maggots and Beckett's we go. Let's see how good the traction is on the exit of these collection of corners, which can be very tricky. And you can see it here. Joe just understeering, losing the back end on the hanger straight.
What a time for the first sector, over 2.5 seconds of improvement. That was very clean Maggots and Beckett's for the Ferrari driver. Just few corners left. Very aggressive on the inside curb, very aggressive on the outside curb, but he keeps it in between the white lines. Vale chicane ahead of him. What's it gonna be for Joe Hamster? He has to again keep it very nicely clean and steady. Across the line goes the Ferrari. It's gonna be P3.
Great stuff.
Very fine lap for Joe Hamster. Next across the line,
Matthew.
Was Matthew, I think.
But he's just starting
his lap.
Starting a lap, yeah.
Then it is Edzak. I have no idea how to what you're saying, but it's a guy in a Williams.
A guy in a Williams.
Who's gonna,
yeah, Edzak.
Yeah. P4, okay, my man. You just promoted himself from the guy in a Williams to Edzak. I'm gonna call you Edzak. You can bash me in the comments after.
As we see Ronan Clark improving here on the hanger straight, up by 3/10, now up by half a second on the exit of Maggot and Beckett's with a purple sector too. What can he do into Stonehour? Looks to be pretty clean, but it's kind of hard to tell in this rain because it's hard to push, isn't it? As we see them now diving into the Vale chicane and club, which is turn 18. Very tricky traction section in this game. And Ronan's going to go P3.
P3.
Very impressive.
Very nice lap from the Aston Martin driver. Next up, it's going to be the Ferrari of Kent, who's going to start his lap. Why don't we go on a lap with him now? Let's try and follow a driver for the entire lap this time, as we have just less than 2 minutes left in this qualifying session. Kent starts probably his last lap of this qualifying. Very aggressive through turn 1 Abbey, down towards the village. Very deep on the brakes, goes down to the second gear, up to third now on the exit. Is very cautious on the traction. Decent exit out of loop. What's it now through the Wellington straight, goes wide and invalidates.
Oh god.
Oh no. Unfortunate, very unfortunate for him. Aspect is going to finish his lap now.
As we just see Junior Blashikinski mowing the lawns with a Red Bull going past them.
And it's P12 for the Haas.
So, track is really ramping up here. The rain is easing off. It's going to be a dry race as well, as Lex Hodd is about to start his final lap. Vries has had enough for today. Now, Lex giving himself some space. I think, he's letting that Aston Martin, I think it's either Ronan.
Counting up to P2 in a Mercedes. Oh, less than a tenth to go P1. That's a very strong pace for him. Isford still in the pits. That's unfortunate, but I think Dugiman just set a purple second sector, unless that's a glitch, but I would hope not. Going through turn 15 now goes the V-carb. And yeah, just few corners for him. We are officially finished with qualifying. Drivers have to finish the push laps in the span of 2 minutes. Dugiman goes 11. That's rather disappointing for him. Kent on his lap just made it across the line before the checkered flag was being waved. This time he kept it in between the white lines, exiting of loop. Ferrari's gonna finish the first sector with a 1.3 second improvement now towards Brooklands Laffield complex. It's gonna be very tricky for him to keep it clean and save on the traction, but he does. The intermediate tire is really helping him with that. No changes so far on the leaderboard. The drivers are going through. Turn 15 is the Mercedes, then the Williams Red Bull. As Kent now approaches Magnussen Becker, it's going to be very interesting to go on board with the Ferrari as he throws the car in the rain into the corner. One corner, first corner, second corner, third corner. Matthew Wrongson finished his qualifying in third position. I'm gonna have to wait to see if anything can change, and it did change. Micromash goes up to P3, Alex up to P4. Now we're gonna have to wait for Flower, as Bios sets the fastest lap of qualifying, destroying the competition. Next up across the line is Tyrannosaurus. He stays 6th. Now Kent across the line, and it's P2 for the Ferrari.
Great
what
stuff.
A lap from him. But
and that will be quality.
Look at the margin. Look at the margin between P1 and P2. Bios over a second quicker than Kent. Just over one lap.
So just to round out qualifying there, Lex Hod in P1 by over a second. He dumped on the competition. Sam Kent P2. Kamil Blazikinski, I hope I said that correctly, in P3. Micromash P4. Alex Theodore P5. Matthew, Ronan, Joe and Edzak and Fola ran out the top 10. Bastian Callum, Junior, I can't remember your name, sorry. Dougie Man, Dan, Axel, Ryan, Mark, and Isfod round out the rest of the grid. Louis has left the session. So, who had a wet setup on? Who's going to have a dry setup on? That's the main question here. As the race is projected to be dry, and it is indeed dry, it's a bit overcast, but clear skies.
I think we're safe from the rain, and I'm really interested about the strategies because the entire tire model changed so much in F1 24 that the strategies can be all over the place. Like, for example, in my 50% race, it was a career though, but still, 50% race around Bahrain, it was a 2-stop, soft, medium, hard.
Yeah.
So the strategies could be crazy, especially on a track like Silverstone when the tire is rather big. So yeah, also a couple of safety cars could spoil things for us, as now we have the drivers on the grid. New game, new season. Ero is back racing in F3 as we are underway. That's a very good start from Bios. Terrible start from Kent as he drops down to, Jesus Christ, P14. Bios in control of the race. Kamil in P2 with the Mercedes. He is under pressure from Micromash. Tries to go around the outside, now down the inside of the Mercedes. Kamil tries to cover him around the outside, but Williams gets the place. Has to now defend from Kamil in behind, as now Alex tries to go for the look maybe on a Mercedes round the outside into Loffield. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be the Mercedes or the V-Cup? Now Matthew Wrongson is trying to maybe take an advantage over the fight going on ahead of him, but it's a perfect start from Bios, who's in complete control of the race right now.
As Sam Kent has had a disaster start, dropping down a total of 10 positions. Bastian is also down 4 positions, and Dougie Man as well. Micromash up 2, Junior up 4, Dan Marquez, the biggest benefactor of that start, of 5 positions.
Yeah, terrible start from the Ferrari driver. I have no idea what happened to him, but Yeah.
As Matthew had a disastrous Maggots and Beckett's, which was his problem last season as well in F1 23, and as a result of that, Ronan Clark has gotten straight past him.
Fighting ahead, Camille and Micromash. I think they were going. No, not Micromash, but Camille and Alex were going side by side through Stowe. Camille now has to defend from the V-Cup behind, going through club, through the. I think it's Hamilton Straight, right? I think it's.
There's Hamilton Straight. Yeah, it's a start-finish straight. Yeah. It is indeed.
That has to feel nice as we have Micromash closing on our leader, who's had a slight lock-up going into Village. Oh, that's very close between the leading pair of drivers. DRS, of course, being enabled on lap 1. Bios would have wished it wouldn't. Micromash is absolutely delighted that it is. But not enough gains for the Williams to go for the lead into Luffield, Brookens, or Luffield, Brookens.
As excellent Dougie Manor just after coming out of the pits. Dougie Manor's retired from the session. I think he's retired in the pits.
But no safety cars.
No. As the field, nobody's very, very close. Apart from Callum and Sam, they are closing in on Edzak ahead, as we're going to see a lot of drivers coming out of Cops into Maggots and Beckett's here.
Too wide Maggots and Beckett's.
Junior and Dan. Dan just gives the position up, doesn't decide to fight into the Maggots and Beckett's. Very clever there, with Edgar right behind, waiting to seize any moment. And he's going to have DRS here, and he's gaining on Dan here.
And Alex, that's a beautiful switchback from Alex. In Stoke Corner, somehow he made it work. But Vika maintaining his place ahead of the Aston Martin. I don't know how he's done that, but that was a beautiful switchback in turn 15.
Callum not really getting a lot of space there, unfortunately for him. Oh, wishka.
We have a slight separation there from P3 to P4. Alex dropping out of the DRS is going to be under pressure from Rhinoceros. So yeah, also the strategies are rather interesting. Most of the drivers on softs, as now Rhinoceros has to go very defensive in his V-Cub. Aston Martin putting the pressure on him. And that's a very big slide from him.
As Ronan now has got this beautiful helicopter cam. I wish this is more in the game here. As we are on an old start-finish straight into Cop's corner. Ronan following Alex and Matthew waiting behind in the battle for P4. Camille is staying with Micromash and Lex Hodd. Lex Hodd all of a sudden has gotten all this pace. He's turned into Michael Schumacher. As he exits Maggots and Beckett's to go to the hangar straight. Now, so there's a few individual battles developing here. You've got P1 to P3, then P4 to P6, then P7 all the way down to P14 battling it out.
What I'm finding interesting is that Bios is really pushing his battery while Micromash is on 100% of his ERS. So I wonder who's really in control of this race. Is it Bios, who has the track position, or is it Micromash, who has a complete ERS advantage over the fastest lap team
of the race? And further up the field, Junior and Folle are going to be fighting into turn 1 here. Junior seems to be winning this battle, but Folle is coming right back at him into farm here. Bit of slide there from the Haas. Now, who's going to get... I think they're both going to get DRS here, so they'll be okay in terms of that way. But it's going to be a drag race down to Brooklands now. Who's got the lower wings is the question. There was a little bump on the right-hand side of the track on this straight here. If you go over it causes a bit of time loss. So it's favoured just to kind of go off the racing line. There's a bit of contact there between the Haas and the Kick Sauber thing car. Whatever you want to call it. As you said, the names are quite messed up this year. And Joe is closing in on Matthew, but however, Folle is breathing down Joe's neck at the moment. Matthew not being detracted though. He's gaining on Ronan. Ronan is not able to drop Mr. Wrightson.
I think this is the moment where Micromash is going for the lead. He was slightly, it is just a little bit of ERS, but now decides to stay behind, plays the long game.
As T-Rex gets past.
Oh, that's a lot of drivers coming close to Timothy. Whoa!
Oh my, as Ronan takes a lot of curve there, he gets very giddy. And Ronan's around.
from Ronan.
That's a really heavy traction zone in this game, and he's mowing the grass quite beautifully now.
Oh, Matthew going for the look into turn 1. What happened to...
As Bios has dropped all the way down to P5, Camille into P1, Micromash into P2, he kept in position. But he's rapidly closing on Camo here, Camille, I hope it's Camille. And he's going to have DRS Camille. And I think he's not going to make the move here, but I think he's going to make the move on the Hangar Straight as they're going into Brooklands now.
I'll be honest, I'm just so confused. I have no idea what happened to Bios.
Yeah, it looks like I just missed that, unfortunately.
Was there contact with Micromash?
We'll find out anyway, as Joe and Foley are going to be battling into Lovefield. Joe really tickling the gearbox, and he's going to be side by side here as they go into the old start-finish straight. There's a bit of a curve there now that will give you a bit of time.
Oh, that's going to be side by side into Kopp's corner. Ferrari on the inside, and he gets the move done. That's a very brave overtake.
But here comes the other Ferrari of Sam Kent into Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, God.
How are they still going? I think Micromaster might be... No, he's still staying behind. He really likes that second place on the track.
And there was a bit of contact between Kent and Foley, and I actually seen a bit of an end plate, a bit of carbon fibre flying into the wind. So I think Kent has got wing damage, and that's going to compromise
Kent
him.
Has no end plate.
Yeah.
Left end plate is gone on the front wing of the Ferrari.
That's disastrous for
them.
them.
He stayed out.
Has he? Okay. Well, we're riding on board with Callum Ogden here, who can see a train of about 6 cars ahead of him as he starts the start-finish straight, the Lewis Hamilton straight, as you've called it. So this is the only thing I like about this game compared to the last game, is the battery system promotes better racing. It promotes attacking, it promotes you to constantly be on your opponent's neck. Oh, Callum almost makes the back of contact with Dan Marquez's diffuser there as they go onto the Brooklyn straight. Massive, massive train here. Remember, 12 people get points in ERO. So there's all to play for even at this point. Bastian Vries was just outside contention at the moment, and Foley and Joe are still fighting.
Yeah, this time Ferrari on the outside. He's going to have the benefit of the outside line with the better traction, but now the advantage changes for the Kick Sauber team, as now I forgot his name, would have been on the inside, but he just couldn't hang it on with the Ferrari. Now,
has to be said, these two drivers are giving loads of space to each other. It's very good to see clean racing in ERO. That's what we came here for. Into Maggots and Beckett's they go. Micromash is taking the lead. We're just going to stick with Bios and Foley at the moment and just join them momentarily. I think that was a DRS assisted overtake. And Ronan's down to P9. What happened there? Oh, because he spun, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But that's a huge train behind... Man, what is his name? I completely forgot it. Fola, okay.
Oh, there's a lot of contact there.
Flying. I think a completely destroyed front wing on SDAX Williams.
No safety car just yet. Shame. Matthew up to P3. But Alex Theodore with the switchback. Ooh la la. That was sexy there. Alex Theodore.
And now could Bios go for the move into P3?
Oh, Matthew's going to be swamped here.
He goes, oh my goodness, I'm going 3 wide. Matthew is not giving this one up, but he has to because Bios is so quick. Now tries to go for the look into the broken this contact tap on the left, front left wheel. He's still gonna go for the move on the old pitch straight into Kopp's corner. He backs out. No chance to go for the move there. Alex defending his position.
As the yellow flag as Callum Ogden has lost the car, and that's going to bring out the safety car. Oh my God. Trying to get your breath, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very intense start. Does the field pit onto the hard tyres? That is the question.
I think that's a good question, and I'm not brave enough to answer it.
I think this is it's in the window of the soft runners. They can do it, but the medium runners, I think they're just going to lose out too much.
Micromash is pitting. Camille is pitting. We're waiting for the decision for Alex. He is pitting as well. Bios pits. Matthew pits.
And we see some front wing. We see the Kick Sauber end plate there. Something happened there with Bios and Alex. I think Alex Bios just went into the back of Alex there. Oh God. There's a bit more chaos now. Will he have time to press the button to change his front wing? Matthew onto the hards.
Micro as well.
Alex. has changed also onto the hards. I think people are listening to us.
Bios didn't change his front wing, even though he is missing a left end plate.
Joe Hamster also onto the hards. We go see Foley and Junior. Foley's onto the softs. Junior, Ronan, both onto the mediums, along with Bios as well. Bios probably going to come back into the pits. Camille also on the mediums. The whole field has indeed pitted, taking advantage of this safety car.
Except Dan Marquez, who's stayed out on track.
Yes. I didn't see that.
Yeah. No worries. I got you. It's going to be very interesting strategy. Honestly, I wonder if on these opening laps, right after the safety car restart, when the hards are still very, very cold, could Dan Marquez still have some tire advantage, at least for that lap or so? Or does the field just immediately eats him alive as we have a aspect leaving the session? Can't blame him. Nothing else he can do in this race. Yeah, and we just have to wait for the field to bunch up. Wait for the official FIA message, because of course FIA is paying close attention to our races.
As Lex does say in the chat that he is not happy that Alex gave him wing damage because he was going so slow into the pits. It is a 60-kilometer pit entry here into Silverstone. One of the slower pit entries, one of the longer pit stop times on the calendar. So that could have been the reason.
Didn't stop Michael Schumacher from winning by pitting.
No, it didn't. But anyway, Lex and Alex are about to go at it. Alex is out here to speed.
Bios 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. This race has gone terribly for a pole sitter.
Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse now. As first he didn't change his front wing, and now he's going to get a 10-second penalty.
But I guess he's going to serve it right now, so he wouldn't really lose that much. He would have been last regardless.
Well, we'll have a look now and see what happens. Yeah, they're going to serve it straight away. That's okay. Sam Kent also into the pits in the Ferrari to change onto the medium compound tyres.
And Bios onto mediums. Behind Kent, as expected.
If you're Dan Marquez here, you're not too happy, as you're caught in the middle of it all on those soft tyres. Bastian and Callum having a very nice moment in the chat here, with Bastian apologising to Callum. But, Callum's still reporting it.
Typical Ero fashion.
New season, same drama. Lex Hodd not too happy, I don't think, with his situation at the moment. So, the whole field all neutralising their strategies, as we see now the mediums, hards and the softs in play. And it must be said here, if you are Camille or Micromash, you must be feeling pretty good.
Absolutely. I don't think Dan Marquez would be a long-lasting threat to win this race. He is going to be about 20 seconds behind everyone, if not more, after he pits. So honestly, he would need a safety car or a miracle to save his race.
Well, the only thing is he can extend the softs here for about 5 more laps, I'd say, because they've had 2 or 3 laps. The safety car is in this lap, so he'll be able to extend, and those softs won't be completely cooked. The mediums probably will be faster at this stage. So depending on his pace, maybe he'll be able to do something. As you see, every driver weaving. And I noticed this in F4. You cannot heat up the tires in this game. It is impossible.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. It's especially fronts, because if you have no traction on, you can sort of mess around with your throttle to warm up the rears, but the fronts are just stone cold as we're waiting for Dan Marquez to restart racing as he does now. It's a decent restart for the McLaren. He's already gapping the Williams, but the Williams is closing in fast, who has a very quick Mercedes right behind him. Could Camille potentially go for the move into Vale? Micromash is defending the inside line, but it's contact and Micromash spins, probably has damage on his front wing, drops down to third, fourth place. And Camille is now leading. I don't know what happened to Dan Marquez. He's into the grass as I'm running out of words to say. Alex up to P2, disregarding this penalty, of course. Micromash, P3, right behind all of this is Matthew Wrongson Jr., by the way, who is up to P7. That's not a bad restart for him, as beautifully goes around the outside of the Aston Martin. We have a lot of battles going on right after the restart of this race.
As we're going to see potentially 3 wide into Kopp's corner here with Edzak, Vries and Axel, I think it is, all getting involved. Axel going on the outside of Edzak there, into Maggots and Beckett. These two are still going to be fighting. Axel having the advantage momentarily now as they're having the exit of Maggots and Beckett. Into the hangers straight we go. Who's going to get the better exit? It looks like everyone's going to hold position, but Sam Kent waiting in the wings, and he's going to get past Edzak up to P11. Into Stowe now they go. And the race begins to finally settle down after a chaotic restart. Matthew up to P3.
As you say that, Matthew makes a beautiful move round the outside of Club Corner to take the third position away from Micromash.
But
he's going to be under attack because Matthew is out of the DRS, and Alex, by the way, is in the DRS of Camille. It's gonna be very interesting to see if the V-Carb driver could go potentially for the move right now, but that's a very good exit out of loop for the Mercedes. But he's using his battery, he's using his ERS, he's diving down the inside, tries to go for the look. Mercedes leaves him enough space, misses the apex completely. Alex now trying to get better traction than the Mercedes ahead of him. The gap is about 0.3 of a second. Alex does not care about his penalty. He's going all in. And through Kops, that's a little bit of a wobble for Camille as we approach Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. I think Alex has the advantage. Much more aggressive lines through the S's. And yeah, I think that's going to be an easy overtake for the V-Cup driver.
As Alex has got just so much battery, as Foley has left the session, we're going to try and get him back in ASAP. And Alex Theodore up to P1.
Yeah, very nice. One thing we forgot to check was the race incidents and the race director, because I think that could come into play towards the end of this race. But right now, the battle for the lead continues, as now Camille is the one who has the advantage. Going through Abbey, turn 1 is of course still flat on this game. This time the Mercedes is behind in the DRS detection point, tries to go for a better line through loop, and look how close he is. I don't think he's even gonna need the DRS to help him start contact between the leading pair of drivers, but they're still going side by side. The DRS wasn't enough to help the Mercedes go back into the lead. Could he possibly go for the switchback all around the outside using his medium compound tires? But Alex positions his V-Carb beautifully and keeps Camille behind, defending the inside line, approaching Kops. It's not gonna be too wide. No 2021 repeating this time around, but the battle still continues.
It does indeed. As we're trying to get Foleau back into the session here, I am sending as many invites as I can in between skirmishes. Further down the field, a bit of a DRS train is forming as Joe Hamster and Alex Courtois are fighting once again, old foes from F5 last season.
Side by side, and just also to interrupt you, but they're still battling for the lead. Camus tries to hang around the outside.
As Camus gets a 3-second time penalty.
We approach the Vale chicane. This very brave from Alex there. He just cut across the Mercedes. I don't know how there was no contact, but he still keep it clean as Camus approaches down towards Abbey, backs out. Jeez, I thought he's gonna go for the move into turn 1.
No, it's quite clever there to back out. You gotta pick your spots. And I can't find Foley.
They're going all in, the leading pair. Absolutely full beans banana. And now Camille, this time he has to make the move. No, look how fast Alex is, but Camille is still gonna dive down the inside. Mercedes back into the lead. Alex not giving up, has the inside line through Luffield.
But look at that exit from Camille.
This is the tire advantage that the Mercedes has, and they go side by side through Cops. Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be Alex on the inside. Camille tries to hug around the outside, but it has no chance to go back into the lead for before Maggots and Beckett. That's not a greatest approach for the V-Cup driver. And now Camille again with the DRS. Alex with the still somehow better straight line speed. I cannot comprehend that, as now we have Micromash trying to join the party, but has to stay behind. Camille round the outside, contactor banging wheels for the lead, but it's gonna be Camille leading the 13th lap of the race, goes over the curb, does not care. Micromash looks in disbelief as they still battling. Matthew dropping down slightly, but who will come out ahead? Alex is still pushing the Mercedes as much as he possibly can.
And as a result of these two fighting, they've actually brought Micromash and Matthew into the battle, into the forefront, because they're not taking the most optimal lines, being very defensive. Axel and Fole into the pits. Fole, we're trying to get you back into the session here, mate. Axel going on to the medium compound tyres. So the top four are kind of in their own league at the moment. Great to see from you, gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely fine racing.
As
hard,
Mark up to P12. And the interesting thing here is that Ronan is going to have to start gaining on these drivers as well, because he's on the faster tyres for the time being. The hards will not have crossed over just yet, so he really needs to push and catch up with this group if he has any chance of getting a podium or winning this race today. It is interesting to note as well, at the moment, Micromash is actually P1. He's not P1 on the track, but he is P1 if the race was to end at this very instant.
As Micromash goes down the inside of Alex. Alex almost hits the back of Camille. Can Micromash send it down the inside? No, the leading three stays as they were. Camille was not overtaken by Alex. Neither was Micromash or Matthew. The top four stayed exactly as they were. And yeah, we still wait to see the race kind of slow down a little bit. That's good. We need a little breathing space. What I'm really impressed is that Camille has this enormous advantage of the corners in those traction zones like loop or Vale chicane. That really impresses me. The Mercedes is putting on a fine drive, even though he might be on slower tires at the moment. Maybe the hards are already catching up. Although right now it's quite even, as Axel gets a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, Alex has enormous straight line speed advantage, but Camille just gets on the power so much quicker and so much better that Alex doesn't really have a chance exiting in loop, for example. But now this time it could be a completely different story. No traction zones here. It's full pedal to the metal. Can Alex go back into the lead? That's going to be an easy overtake around the outside. No real defense from the Mercedes, and it's the V-Cup back into the lead.
Just like that. And then still Micromash waiting to the wings. Bios and Kent fighting further in the field.
Camille dipped the wheel to the grass and now is under pressure from Micromash. And Alex broke the DRS almost.
Ronan actually drifting away from this pack here. And Matthew Ronson really, really close to the back of Micromash here. These four putting on an absolute show. It's great to see. I think Matthew's actually improving, dare I say it. And they're going to have all of it helping a DRS here. And Alex is going to be a bit of a sitting duck, I feel, to the drivers behind. I don't think they'll have enough distance to catch him. Camille really closing in into Brooklands. Not going to make them move now. They're going to stick at this though, and he's going to stick with him for Ludfield and hopefully get a better exit onto the old start finish straight.
Lex Hogg dropping down. It's is those traction zones when Camille is gaining the most. But what was
What
that
was that? It
line
was a
through?
massive cut to the corner.
Okay, that was very interesting. Micromash looking from the third position as the leading pair is fighting.
As well, just
with
right on board with
themselves.
Micromash. Here's
And
Camille gets
again,
another 3-second time penalty. Oh god. Camel, Curva, Bobar. Now Micromash, look at that exit he's gotten out of Maggots and Beckett's, and he's going to go for one. He's going to get the double slipstream into two, into Stowe we go. He doesn't get Alex. Just about keeps the car safe. Bit of a wobble there. Camel dropping down to P3 at the moment. Into the Vale chicane we go. And Micro seems to keep that. P2. And Camel dropping to the P4.
Side. All through club, and it's right now I think those hard compound tires are really starting to come to play.
And I think I think these top four are really pulling each other along, and I think that's what's giving Ronan the bit of the disadvantage here, because Ronan's lost over 2 seconds even with this infighting between the top four. Sam Kent not really gaining either. Edgar Phillips, Edzak coming up onto Kent now. He's rapidly approaching him. The hards are definitely in their window. Axel coming up to P12 now, overtaking Mark. Lex Hodder with such a strong qualifying performance is now all the way down to P11 with penalties as well. Isfod's going to have DRS. Vrees is going to have DRS on Junior. Well, a lot happening here.
Yeah.
And Matthew's still in this. Matthew could be looking for the win here. He's probably thinking that in his mind. New season, new me. Let's hope he has a good result today.
Right now, the battle is really in between Micromash and Matthew. It's going to be really interesting to see how this race pans out, as we have 10 laps of racing.
As Camille's gone very wide there. Camel has gone very, very wide there. Exit Maggots and Beckett's. And we see Ronan just coming up now. Ronan really struggling on those medium tyres. Maybe he's burned through them a bit too quickly.
Do you know what? Oh, Alex with a penalty. Another penalty. There's going to be 6 seconds for him now, I think. That is just unfortunate, but that means that his fight is now with Camille to stay on the podium, while the battle for the lead is between Micromash and Matthew. So far, what Micromash wants is to stay behind Alex right until the end of this race, not go for any moves, have the DRS advantage, recharge his battery, but right now we saw this sort of a little bit of a mistake. He went a little bit deep into Village. That almost gave Matthew an opportunity to go past him. Matthew was not close enough to exploit the mistake of his opponent. But
Micromash's straight line speed is something else.
Contact. There was contact between Matthew and Micromash, and I thought for a second Matthew was going to go for the move in the cops. That would be brave to say the least.
Dan and Ryan fighting further down the field for P15. The interesting thing here is that Camille has no battery left. The drivers in front of him have plenty of batteries. Matthew gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh god.
And goes very wide. It almost spins, saves it. Camille goes up to P3. What was that from the Red Bull driver? I don't know. Micromash stays behind Alex. He basically doesn't have to do anything until the end of his race. He is on the right tire. He has no penalties. No one around him can realistically gap him enough for him to lose his position. This is perfect situation for Williams.
Yeah, Louis Wood having a great debut here in Ero as we enter lap 19 of 26. Bios and Bastian fighting into the Vale chicane, coming out now of club onto the Lewis Hamilton straight, as Lex does set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:29.238.
Yeah, that just shows how much potential was in his race today, but very unfortunate incident really destroyed his whole race, and he's barely in the points right now. He's trying to make the most out of it. He didn't quit, he didn't retire. He decided to keep going, and he's comfortably in the points right now. So.
And these four are still sticking with each other, though, even with the time penalties.
There's contact between him and Junior. Junior goes wide, being pushed off the track. Just as I was praising Bios, he does what he does. Well, I guess that's the commentator's guess. Yeah, I'm just looking at the strategy, stops, tires. very interesting to say how things pan out because, well, the top 4 is basically set. Camille doesn't really have the pace to overtake Micromash, more so Alex. Matthew will be absolutely kicking himself in his teeth because that mistake was completely on his own. He was in contention for the win. He is completely out of it unless Micromash gets a penalty, which I doubt, as we have a spin, I think, at the exit of 10-15. It's one of the Hasses, I think.
It must be Junior, as Aspect has rejoined. I think he's just going to engineer his teammate. Adding up to here.
That's
now,
right.
so the top 4 is still in their own little world. Ronan hasn't made any gains, unfortunately for him. Sam Kent, neither has made any gains. Philip, Mr. Edgar Phillips, having a stellar re-debut, should we say, in Ero, and he is closing on Sam. I think the mediums are getting a bit cooked here, and he's got a chance at P5 if things keep the way they do. With only 7 laps to go.
I don't know if you caught that, but Camille is really putting the pressure on Micromash. All of them are so close to each other. There was almost contact going from Maggots and Beckett's. Camille using all of his battery. Well, he didn't have much to begin with, but now he's vulnerable from Matthew Ronson from behind. Rebel trying to push the Mercedes to his absolute limits. I think there was a double move to defend his position from Camille.
But here comes Matthew into the chicane. Oof.
And switched back. Oh, there was a slight tap of oversteer for the Red Bull, but so was for Mercedes. And they sort of dropped back behind Micromash, as Micromash still focuses on himself. Doesn't really care what's happening behind, as Matthew is gonna dive down the inside into Village. Not brave enough to actually gain any places.
Well, he doesn't really have to do much here, Micromash. He just has to stick behind. And Camel's dropped out of the DRS due to the fighting with Matthew. So this plays perfectly into Louis.
He's got the DRS.
He's got the DRS. Just about, okay. As Louis is actually going to make a move now for the win.
That's bold, that's risky, I love it. Micromash around the outside, there's contact. Alex into the grass, being pushed there by Micromash. There could be some reports.
If you're Louis here, I don't know why you're doing it though, because you don't need to.
Alex coming back into Cobb's corner. They go side by side. There was slight contact between these two. Alex somehow gets the place back. Although I think that's actually plays into Micromash's hands quite nicely, because he will get the DRS again, and he, well, almost has the battery advantage as well. But sorry to interrupt you, but that allowed the Camus and Matthew to come back into the DRS. That's absolutely insane.
And the interesting thing here is this all plays into Louis Wood's hands. He doesn't need to make a move on the track. He doesn't have to win this race on the track. With everyone's time penalties around him, this is his for the taking. Just keep the car on the road for the next 5 laps. Okay, the tyre deck is going to be a bit of an issue, but here comes Matthew on Louis. He's really gaining into Abby, but he's not going to make the move there. And Camel, and Bios up to P5. Ronan down to P8. He's spun again into Vale. Exact same spot as before. As we said, it's a really tricky traction-heavy zone.
Oh, Micromash almost spun exiting loop.
Oh, this is... Oh, as Camel there doesn't give Matthew a lot of space. Hard racing, but just on the borderline of fair. Micromash has got a bit of a gap now to Camel behind. I have to say, this has been great from the 4 of them.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Very, very high driving standards. They're all racing each other very hard, but very fairly and very cleanly. And they're absolutely in a legal zone, even despite the fact that they're battling lap after lap after lap. They're still gaining on the rest of the field. Yeah, it's just a joy to watch.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And I have to say, this is one of the things that's better about this game than the last game. The racing seems to be a lot more, less DRS training and more action. Even if it is a bit more arcadey, but it's still good.
Yeah, I love it.
And Bios has made a great recovery now up to P5. Obviously, he's got a few penalties that he's going to have to deal with, but he's really showing his pace here, Lex Hod. As Matthew now up to P3 on the track. These drivers are all going very slow. I think there's a lap driver or something there. I think it's Foles. Oh!
Oh! Oh, I missed it! I missed it!
As there's absolute chaos, and that will bring out the safety car as Camille and Matthew both taken out, the two contenders in this race. I just caught the end of it there. It looked like Camille made a move into Abbey, or into Club, sorry. And, well, they just both died. Oh, God.
I know that Matthew absolutely sent it into the Vale chicane, but I focused on Alex and Micromash. And jeez Louise.
This Matthew's not happy here. He's gone into actual meltdown mode, and Camel just goes, I'm bad. I feel for Matthew here. He's had a very stellar race, though, he has to be said. Like, he has done very good up to this point. And
I'll tell you what, that plays nicely into Bios's hands.
Yeah,
Lex Bios might be a still contender.
Well, can he pit now and get rid of some of these penalties? That's the question. He can. He's got a 10-second penalty, so he could technically pit and drop all that penalty off. But, well, let's see what he does here. It's a bit of a catch-22. I think he has to.
Drivers pit.
I think he has to pit, because if he doesn't pit, he's going to be 10 seconds behind on the restart, and it's only going to be one lap.
Yeah, he has to pit. But what I'm more interested is that should the others pit, because it's going to be one lap of racing, maybe two.
We have to look here. Who's got the free pit stop?
Alex pits.
Alex pits.
Micromash pits. Bios. Bios stays out. Bios stayed out.
What? Eh? The one driver who should have pit.
Exactly. Edzak stayed out. Kent stayed out. Oh my god. They're all staying out basically. They're gonna drop to Alex gonna drop to P5.
Well, that's very, very strange there. Now, if you're Micromash, I understand you want to win it on the track. And the three drivers ahead of him are going to be sitting duck now. I'm assuming Sam, Kent, and Edzak are feeling that they can just, I don't know, hold on. It's going to be one lap of racing, and this is going to be a very, very exciting lap as P4 down to P8 of all pit. Bios has caught the safety car, but there is a lot of drivers still in front of him there. They won't have a delta anymore, so they can really push to catch up. If you are anyone from P11, you really can't pit at this point. You just got to push like a lunatic and hope to catch a safety car.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be one lap of racing.
Isn't there like a... Because I know it always was the case in F1 games. Like the safety car had to pit like 2 laps before the end of the race.
It usually pits at least one lap. It is always at least one lap of racing. It doesn't. The game doesn't end on a safety car.
Yeah. But I thought it was at least 2 laps. But...
No, it depends.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Sort of Abu Dhabi 2021 vibes here. Still hasn't recovered.
Well, Alex Theodore it's going to be Max Verstappen in this scenario. Now, the interesting thing here is, can Micromash navigate the field? Now, because the thing is, if he didn't pit, he would have had 3 cars as a buffer. As the safety car
is in this
will
lap.
be in this lap.
Bios takes over the control over the field, tries to warm up his tires because the truth gets the 10-second time penalty.
He's not in the lobby. He's not in the lobby.
Look at the TV broadcast camera. They're all bunched up together. I'm guessing they're all casting Bios out for going so slowly. Safety car is in the pits. It's all up to Bios now to put the pedal to the metal. Don't look behind you and just go straight.
And he has gone here.
As he went. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Edzak in P2, already dropping back. Kent right behind him. Of course, they can't overtake unless they reach the start finish line. But Kent already sliding. Alex tries to go for the move into the first corner, but has to back out. No chance for him, and that's gonna hamper Micromash because he still has 2 drivers to overtake on track.
Oh!
Alex sends it down the inside. That opens up a door for Micromash, who tries to go past Alex. Edzak still ahead of them, but Micromash has just one more guy ahead of him to win this race. Maybe not on track, but after the penalties.
And I'm thinking Sam Kent there has been spun by his own teammate who drove through him when he was ghosted. And as a result of that, Sam stopped all the way down to P8 after showing so much promise here. Disastrous for him.
Zach, Alex, and Micromash are all going basically side by side. Alex round the outside in Cobb's corner. Micromash tries to join him, but it's blocked by his own teammate. They approach Magnus and Beckett. I think this is all won for Micromash. Bios has no chance to win. Alex, no chance as well. Micromash is basically already a winner as he has just one more car ahead of him. He doesn't really have to look back because no one is really pushing from behind. Pause. Micromash up to third.
Bastion up to P6.
Lead of the race.
Overtaking Isfod. Ronan in P5 as Callum leaves the session somehow. Anyway, we'll stay up the front here as Edzak is going to be vying for P2. Alex Theodore gets the fastest lap of the race. Some great pace from him today, must be said. Great improvement. Micromash, Louis Wood showing his mettle here.
Alex and Bios and Alex. Beautiful switchback from Alex in Village. Side lock up from Bios. Another switchback. The kick Sauber is in rearview mirrors of the V-Cab. What a beautiful racecraft there from Alex.
And he's going to have DRS as well into Brooklands. Great stuff from him. Wow.
Unbelievable. Bios goes wide. That opens up a door for Micromash, who exploited. Micromash still could win this race on track. It's going to be difficult for him because Alex has enormous pace and pretty big gap, but they're going to be pushing to the checkered flag waves. 7-10 separating the leader and the guy in second. Bios very close behind, tries to get ahead of Micromash, but yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is here's going to get P3 here because it's going to be either Ronan or it's going to be Alex. Alex is fairly pushing like a madman.
P3. Ronan.
But saying that, Ronan has overtaken Edgar Phillips. And is he going to get P2 in this opening round? Bastian Vries also in the contention. Edzak also in the contention. As they're going to enter the final few corners here.
Vries sends around the outside.
Oh, God.
And Alex wins it on the track. Micromash wins it after the penalties. Another 10-second time penalty for Bios. And Ron and Edzak on his 19-lap hard tyres finishes on the podium. It's a Williams 1 and 3, Aston Martin 2 and 4, Isford in the 5th, Alex finishes in 6th, Bios, very unfortunate race for him, but a decent recovery drive makes him finish in 7th, Kent 8th, Axel 9th, Dan Marquez in 10th, Marco in his Red Bull 11th, and completing the points is the Truth, who hasn't finished the race yet. He finishes right now. And we are done with the
opening round.
United Kingdom. No, you can't. Just gonna do British Grand Prix, United Kingdom Grand Prix. What have I just said? I'm just tired at this point.
The maiden round of season 13 in F3. Great stuff. I think there's going to be multiple winners in this tier. I think every week you're going to have a different winner, if that's any inclination to go by. Amazing stuff. With just two Williams drivers on the podium here. Edzak, welcome back to Ero.
What a season opener that was.
Yes, Matthew sent me the incident here.
Do I want to see that?
As well, Matthew just went massively over the curb into Vale, then loses traction. Well, that's going to be a difficult one to steer, to be honest. Camel just doesn't he loses control of the car. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there. Micromash P1, Ronan Clark in P2, Edgar Phillips in P3. That rounds out your podium finishers. Bastian Vries out of nowhere P4, Isfod P5, Alex, who led for a lot of this race, Lex Hod, who started on pole position, Sam Kent on his debut as well, Alex Courtois and Dan Marquez rounded the top 10, Mark Crawford in P11, Ryan Smith in P13, Foliao, who disconnected, unfortunately, P14, Junior, Joe, Camille, Matthew, Callum, and Doggy Man round out the rest of the grid.
Wow.
as Alex Theodore's knuckle is bleeding from punching the desk.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, back in ERO land, tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. where we'll have F2. And Mr. Lucas Safraniak will be racing at that time.
Yeah. Probably just one lap. And the body is at 200 miles per hour.
Well, thanks very much for watching, everybody. We hope you have a lovely evening.
Bye.